What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan with Astrodfs bringing you a video going over the first look for week 13 on DraftKings. So this week we don't have any $8,000 quarterbacks. We have three $7,000 quarterbacks. Russell Wilson leading the pack, Kyler Murray right behind him, Deshawn Watson behind that. $200 difference between first and third there, so not a lot of differential for the top price. Then below is a couple 6K quarterbacks at the high end, Herbert, Rodgers. We don't know what's going to go on with Pittsburgh and Baltimore at this point. We don't even know if they're going to play tomorrow night. So that game is taken off Sunday and it's postponed. Not sure where that's moving to, but it's not going to be on the slate. So it appears you look at these quarterbacks up top. Russell Wilson against the Giants. Giants defense has been pretty good lately. I think that's agreeable. Kyler Murray against the Rams, facing a really tough defense in the Rams. They did just get beat by Mullins, but they're still an overall good defense. Deshaun Watson against the Colts. Colts, one of the best defenses in the league. They did also get lit up by Tennessee. Also had factors to do with being without Buckner. Their defensive tackle and Derrick Henry just he could have ran for easy over 200 yards, but 3 touchdowns that game. Justin Herbert playing against New England, which playing against New England as a rookie just isn't statistically good. But without Brady, it changes, but still, New England against rookie quarterbacks has always just been historically rough. Aaron Rodgers against Philly's defense, another pretty rough matchup there. And then you start going below. You got Kirk Cousins against Jacksonville, which is a good matchup. Taysom Hill against Atlanta, another good matchup. Ryan Tannehill against Cleveland, that's an iffy one there. Fitzpatrick or Tua against Cincinnati. Both of those good matchups. We did just see Cincinnati. They could have beat the Giants, honestly. But they're going to face a really, really tough Miami defense here. So Fitzpatrick, Tua, 6,000, 5,900. Great value there. Philip Rivers, 5,900 against Houston. I like that price point. I like his matchup. Derek Carr, 5,800, just coming off of one of his... I don't know how you throw 34 times for 215 yards and no touchdowns. Played a terrible Atlanta defense and only accumulated 4.6 fantasy points. He had 3 fumbles, 1 interception. It was a rough time. He gets another good matchup here, but I don't know how you don't get a better matchup than Atlanta's defense. So I don't know. Jared Goff is only 5,800 against Arizona's defense. That's a good price point for me. Good matchup. Cam Newton against the Chargers defense. Another good price point. Another good matchup. Matt Stafford against the Bears. I don't like it. The Bears defense just got demolished, but still they are an overall good defense. Matt Ryan against the Saints. I don't like that. Saints have a really good defense. And I just can't see Atlanta doing anything more than what they did in Week 11, and that's with Taysom Hill. So, his price is good. That's the only thing I like. One of my favorite plays, if he's in at the price point, is Gardner Minshew being 5,600 against Minnesota's defense. We know how bad Minnesota's defense is, and we know how Gardner Minshew is. Look at his price point. You look at his points even last year. I continue to say it, for a team that's supposed to be tanking. I mean, Gardner Minshew just defies that. Beat the Colts week 1, beat Tennessee, or almost beat Tennessee. They should have beat Tennessee week 2, and then pretty much the games that you see him or them getting blown out or beat pretty bad, he's thrown over 40 times in those games. I mean, it's ridiculous. He only had 1 game where he didn't throw a touchdown, and that was against Miami. But Gardner Minshew, 5,600, he's looking like he's going to be back and looking like a really good play. Daniel Jones, I believe, is going to be out. I don't know if it's official. But he's going to be, I'm pretty sure he's going to be out. Colt McCoy is 4,800 against Seattle. Although it is a really good matchup. We've seen what Daniel Jones can do with, as much star talent as there is on the Giants. I don't want to say it's like superstar talent, but they have guys who have explosive plays. So I don't know why that offense can't just sync it together yet, but playing against the worst pass defense in the league, just it should be a good matchup, but apparently just not for the Giants. Carson Wentz against Green Bay. I'm not going to say that I think that we're going to get a Jalen Hurts announcement, but we're probably going to get a Jalen Hurts announcement. If not this week, next week. He needs to play. It's not that Carson Wentz is just terrible. He's not good, but give the rookie the chance. You see what Joe Burrow's done with Cincinnati. They're a losing team, yes, but that offense scores. They're going to be good if they can build a defense and give Joe Burrow some protection on the offensive line. They have enough weapons on offense. They just need more protection for him and a better defense. We see what Justin Herbert does with the Chargers. It's ridiculous. Let Jalen Hurts play. If he does bad, he does bad. Guess what? Your team's fighting for a playoff spot in a division that anyone could take the playoff spot. Don't get me wrong. They could still get to the playoffs. But if you get to the playoffs, what are you going to do? That division it's got so much potential with the teams that are there. It's just no one's winning games. All the quarterbacks are hurt for the most part. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see Jalen Hurts announced as a starter against Green Bay. I don't like the matchup though. I don't want to trust a rookie in cash against Green Bay, but it's probably going to be an option. Nick Foles or Trubisky against Detroit. I think if Trubisky plays against Detroit, he's, just career-wise played really well against Detroit. Week 1, we should have lost against Detroit. Swift dropped that end zone reception. They should have scored 1. But Trubisky had a hell of a fourth quarter and lit it up for 24 fantasy points. Playing against a Detroit team that they're getting better. It seems like they are getting better defensively, but still nowhere near good. Baker Mayfield against Tennessee, although I do like Baker Mayfield, one of my favorite quarterbacks, has looked rough playing a Tennessee defense that has signs of potential of shutting quarterbacks down, but his price point's good. I like it. And then Joe Flacco or Sam Darnold against Vegas. They're 5,000, 4,900. I think it's a good matchup for the quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the Jets are a good team or anything like that. Their price points at 5,000 or 4,900 against a defense that just gives up a lot of points. That's what you want to target. But at the same time, it is the Jets. So the price point is the only thing that interests me. We go at running backs, and we got 2 $9,000 running backs finally. Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's got a great matchup against Jacksonville. Derrick Henry's got an okay matchup against Cleveland. And on the other side of that game, you see Nick Chubb at 7,700, so a $1,500 drop-off from second to third against Tennessee. I like that matchup. Josh Jacobs, don't know if he's going to be healthy, so look for value in Vegas' backup running backs. My boy James Robinson playing against Minnesota. I keep saying he just puts up fantasy points. That's what he does. He started the season off at 4,000. He's made it all the way up to 7,300, which is incredible. And they're playing against a Minnesota defense that's played the run a little better than they have, but still not overall good. 7,300. The price is just up. But I like the matchup. Aaron Jones against Philly. I don't really like that. We've seen that Philly has a pretty good rush defense. Their pass defense is terrible, but their rush defense is pretty good. Austin Eckler goes all the way up to 7,100 against New England. It's an okay matchup for me. Kamara all the way down to 7,000 against Atlanta. I like that price point a lot. I like that matchup. Miles Sanders, 6,700 against Green Bay. I like him, especially if Jalen Hurts isn't. I really like Miles Sanders this week. DeAndre Swift playing, may or may not play this week. I believe he is going to play 6,500 against the Bears. Bears should shut down running backs, but DeAndre Swift has looked pretty nice lately. Chris Carson, 6,300 against the Giants. I was so let down that he only got 8 rush attempts last night. He did get a touchdown, but Carlos Hyde stole a lot of his reps. But I can't see him doing the same thing against the Giants this week. I feel like they were kind of still iffy with his injuries and all that, but he's got a really good price point and a really good matchup this week. Jamal Williams is too high for me, 6,100, especially as a backup running back. Same thing as Scott. You're going to have to watch injury news with Joe Mixon and find out if he's going to be back. I believe he is, but still that offense isn't the same since Burrow's gone, but you never know. Miami just looks good defensively. Latavius Murray went off last week as a backup running back. 28.6 fantasy points as a running back. Yeah. Duke Johnson's got a terrible matchup against the Colts. Colts still use all 3 running backs. Taylor should be back from the COVID. So none of the 3 interest me. Drake and Edmonds against the Rams don't interest me at all. Gallman against Seattle doesn't interest me. And then I mentioned Vegas. Booker's got a pretty good price point against the Jets. David Montgomery was able to finally run against a terrible rush defense. He's got another terrible rush defense to go against. You saw what he did week 1, 13 for 64. So he just needed more carries. He's averaging almost 10 or 5 yards a rush, which is where you want him at. And he's been getting the reception. So another good matchup for David Montgomery. Definitely a value play. Kareem Hunt, 5,400. I like his price a lot. And same thing, kind of iffy with Tennessee, but his price point's good and he splits it. You keep going down. You get Todd Gurley maybe playing against New Orleans at 5,300. It's just a really bad matchup. Harris or White for New England. I think both those prices are good. I like Harris this week a little more than I do White, although White did get me my 2 touchdowns I needed from him last week. So that was nice there. And then Cam Akers at 4,500 against Arizona. I feel like maybe they're finally going to give him what he deserves and get some reps. Wide receivers, 3 above 8,000. Devontae Adams being a $9,000 receiver against Philly, and he just continues to show why he's top 30 receiver in the league. DK Metcalf blew my mind of what he did against Darius Slade last night. Totally broke the slate. If you had him, you automatically cashed, it seemed. Keenan Allen, 8,100 against New England. DeAndre Hopkins, 7,800 against the Rams. That's going to be a great matchup there. A.J. Brown against Cleveland, 7,600, a lot more than I'd like him to be. Tyler Lockett, $800 less than DK Metcalf. Adam Thielen, only 7,300 against Jacksonville. Calvin Ridley, the most expensive Atlanta receiver this week against New Orleans. Doesn't favor me. Will Fuller. Blew my mind that happened. Michael Thomas, only 7,000. Justin Jefferson, up to 6,900. Allen Robinson, 6,700 against Detroit. That's definitely worth a look. For number 1 receiver, for somebody that gets a lot of targets, 6,700 is a great price point. 666 for Julio, if he does play. He should. Devontae Parker up to 6,400 against Cincinnati. I like his matchup a lot. Landry boosts up after the great game that he just had. Cooper Kupp's only 6,100 against Arizona. Like, I get of what happened with San Francisco and Seattle, but it's Cooper Kupp. I think he's probably my favorite value play for receiver, and I know 6,100 really isn't a value, but for what he should be priced at, it's great. Robert Woods is 5,900 too. Both those guys, great value. Got to watch injury news between Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay. If Kenny Galladay's in, I kind of like that against the Bears. Not as much that I like the matchup, but it's just Kenny Galladay and Matt Stafford have something special together. Brandon Cooks is now the number 1 receiver for Houston this week. Although it's a really terrible matchup, he's going to be the number 1 at 5,600. So, again, a really good value play there for me. I don't really like New England receivers, although it is a good matchup against the Chargers, who just give up a lot of points, a lot of yards. I just don't trust anybody from New England at all right now. Maybe next season, but this season it's very hard to like anybody. DJ Shark, if Minshew's back, go DJ Shark. 5,400 and you pay, 5,600 for Minshew. It's a great combo. Giants are pretty much off my list if Daniel Jones is 100% out. Philly receivers, I really don't like them. Just a really rough matchup against Green Bay, and their quarterback situation is really bad with Wentz. We can keep going down. Nelson Aguilar, probably my favorite Raiders receiver against the Jets this week. 5,200. I think that's a really fair price point. Jamison Crowder is only 5,100 against Vegas. I like that. I'm hoping this is the week that he finally bounces back and gets those 10-plus targets, and he's got a favorable matchup too. Lazard is only 5,000 against Philly, and if he's healthy, we don't really know the extent of the injury. No news has come about it, but he did get hurt, so we'll have to see. But I expect some good things out of that. Michael Pittman's only 4,900 against Houston. I think that's a really good price point for him as well, and a really good matchup for the Colts. Emmanuel Sanders, 4,700. I like that. We can keep going down, see if there's anybody down here that shouldn't be down here. Mims, 4,100. I guess I like that. Perryman's 3,900. Cole is still yet to leave the 4,000 range, or the 3,000 range. Kiki Kuti, with Fuller being out, he moves into the number 2 spot. Other than that, there's not a whole lot. We go look at tight ends this week. Only 2 tight ends above 5,000. Hopkinson goes above 5,000. Darren Waller, $100 more expensive than it was last week. He just got a great matchup against the Jets, and hopefully can have a much, much better performance than what happened last week against Atlanta. Hopkinson against the Bears. Bears have been pretty terrible against tight ends, so Hawkinson's got a pretty good matchup. The only thing that worries me, if Galladay is back, that some of that volume gets taken from him. Evan Ingram, with, like I said, Daniel Jones taken out, just goes down. Hunter Henry's got a really rough matchup against New England. Goddard just went off last night, but again, somebody that's got a pretty rough matchup against Green Bay, even though Green Bay kind of allows a lot of small catches to tight ends. The way they use Goddard is different. So, but the only thing is you have to watch if Zach Ertz is going to be back, because they're going to split it 50-50 again. Gesicki, 4,200 against Cincinnati. We just haven't seen him being used like he was. Jonnu Smith, 4,100 against Cleveland. I really like that price, and I like that matchup. I think that's good. Hunter Hurst against New Orleans. Yeah, it's the same thing for me as last week. Hooper's still 3,800. Yet again, another good price point, another good matchup there. Tunyon is 3,700 against Philly. Aaron Rodgers likes throwing to the tight end this year, so he still becomes a player I like. And go down, Jared Cook against Atlanta. Great price point for him. Just hasn't had the love that he used to with Drew Brees. Jimmy Graham against Detroit. I like Jimmy Graham. Colt Mccoy against Detroit this week. And I like Colts tight ends against Houston. Trey Burton has been getting a lot of the looks. More targets than Cox and Doyle. So 3,500, I like that price point as well. Kyle Rudolph, if Smith is out again at 3,400, it's a good price for him, good matchup. Other than that, we go down. There's not a whole lot here. Yeah, there's not a lot. So yeah, that's it for this week. I'm not gonna go over defenses. Defenses aren't as impactful as everything else, but yeah, hope you guys did enjoy. if you guys are interested in getting our full plays, definitely head over to astrodfs.com. The link for that will be in the description down below. Definitely check out the videos I post going over the 2 showdowns if we do get the showdown tomorrow night or Thursday night. Both those videos will be posted the morning of, so come back, look at them. Thank you guys for the support on yesterday's video going over the Monday night game. It was really great, even though that game was just so completely randomized from how I think a lot of people thought. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.